Welcome to Outdoors HoodCraft Survival. Today I'm just going to be talking about the anorak I made, or some people call it a parka, or a hoodie, or a wool sweater. Goes by many names, and I'm just going to call it a parka because I like that name the best. Somebody might correct me if that's not the proper term. So anyway, I stitched up the pockets here since the last video just to keep it from fraying, and so those are all stitched up on the sides. And then along the hood, I stitched up along the hood too, so that doesn't fray at all, and then stitched it up here. It was all hand done, you know, just stitching and stitching and stitching and stitching. It takes a long time, but it's worth it, I think, because I'm going to be using this for a long time, hopefully. So I wanted to go over the uses of it, and before I get started with that, I just wanted to also mention that I put these buttons on here. Now these buttons are made with paracord, the strap is paracord, and the strap is paracord too. I just sewed through the paracord onto the wool, and then what these buttons are right here, these metal pieces, that's a ferro rod. So a ferro rod is for making fire. It can create sparks, and so if I scrape that with the spine of my knife, I can create a spark hot enough to ignite certain tinders and start a fire. So that way I have two different sources of fire always on me when I'm wearing this. And I think they also look good too with the gray and black aesthetic of this parka. So the reason I went with wool, and 100% wool, no less, on this parka is for its beneficial properties for a person who's seeking self-reliance. So when I'm out in the woods and I'm hiking alone, or out in the woods alone, or I'm in my car or something like that, and for some reason I get in a bad scenario, what I like to do is I like to strap this onto the back of my backpack, and so that I have it with me in this fall, and then I'll carry it in winter too, so that I always have something that I can sleep in. If night comes and I'm not ready for it, I always have something I can just put on. I can sleep in it, bundle up everything a little bit closer, and get warm in this. It is fire retardant also, and then I can also use it as a ground mat if I need to. So you can lay it down and then use it as a ground mat. Not that I would like to do that, but if I had to, you can. So the fire retardancy means that if a coal from the fire lands on it, it's not going to immediately burn a hole in it. It will help sustain the fabric from tearing or singeing from the coal for a long period of time until you can just brush it off, hopefully. And so, like, I went on a hike the other day, and I just strapped this onto the side of my backpack, knowing that if I got stranded up there, or if it got really cold and I wasn't ready for it, I always have this extra that I can sleep in, or I can just put on when I'm hiking to get a little bit warmer, or if I fall in a river and you have to get out and then you need warm clothing, this will always be on the side of my backpack, and it's a multi-purpose piece of gear because of the material it's made out of. Especially wool being so durable. It's not going to really tear, or the stitching's not going to come out, hopefully, and then the fabric is very durable. And it's more durable than if you knitted a wool sweater, just having the expanse of the fabric wool. It helps a lot over knitting. And this is just something I really like to carry. It's something I really like to use. I love the feel of it. It is a little bit itchy, but I've gotten used to wool over the years because I use it to sleep with every night, and I use it to just for all sorts of winter excursions. I like to use wool over synthetics, and so personally I really like it. I like the black and gray aesthetic of it. I did arrange somebody mentioned they liked the way I arranged the stripes on the sweater. I did that on purpose, so I thought each stripe out, and you can see on the hood I have one going down here, and then I have the big stripe offset, so that it's not center, because most things look better if they're offset a little bit. That's why I'm always off to one side of the camera, not direct center. And then this going at a diagonal, I like that. And then I just like the way it turned out. So yeah.
I've got a question.
You got a question?
Wool gets wet really easily, and then it stays wet for a long time.
It's true.
So, I mean, is it still good for a lot of situations? Like,
yes, that's a good question, actually. So wool does get wet, and it will stay wet for a long time, but wool will still keep you warm even when it's wet. If I get these jeans, which are made out of cotton, so it's all denim cotton, if I get these wet, I can't wear them anymore if I'm in fear of hypothermia taking place. But if the wool gets wet, I'm still going to wear it, because even though wool gets wet, it still keeps you warm. It still keeps a lot of its insulating value, and a lot of people don't know that, but it's a good thing to keep in mind that synthetics usually don't keep their insulating value once they get wet, and even cotton doesn't either, but wool will. So it's better to wear wool when it's wet than not at all. So that's just something to keep in mind when you use wool. So I wanted to give a quick shout out to somebody, Joel Buhia. He's on Facebook and Instagram. He did a video. His channel is called The Great Outdoors. He did a video demonstrating how to make this anorak the way he made it. So he made one, I think was out of wool too, and he went through the full step-by-step process of making it, and that's part of the reason I actually ended up making this, is because I saw that he could do it, and it with not a fair amount of difficulty, and so that I was like, you know what, I can probably do that too. So Black Outdoors got me inspired to researching, the anorak process, and then I found his video, and I was like, you know what, I really want to make this. So I went by his tutorial on YouTube, which I'll give a link below and a link on the screen, so you guys can go check that out. It was very helpful to me, so thank you, Joel, for doing that video. It was very helpful. I hope it helped a lot of other people too. And you're the reason I'm wearing this right now, is because you made that tutorial and I made it, to suit my needs. Mine is different than his, and mine is different than Black Outdoors, but I made it to fit my needs. I saw a bunch different ones online. I looked at them up online, and I did a lot of research, and I was like, you know what, this is about what I want. And so I just did it the way to suit my needs. And if you guys, all my viewers, ever make one, make it to suit your needs. Don't, you can exact copy somebody else, and that's okay, but just make it to suit your needs so that it works best for you. And another person mentioned that this is a more slim fit. That wasn't really on purpose, but I do like how it turned out. The slim torso is just because I guess I measured, not compensating for enough room. So I should have left more room in here so that it's a little bit more baggy, but then it's easier to get on and off. But I think it turned out great, and I like the slim fit of it. Most people who make these make them a little bit bigger so that you can pull them on over your head easier, and that's okay, but mine's just a little bit thinner, and that's just the way I made it. And then I opted for a center pocket so that I can warm my hands and keep stuff in here. I don't have a pocket inside this pocket like I've seen some people. I just want one single pocket, and that was it. So that's the way I did it. And then I'll be showing you guys footage of the blanket I cut up, or an exact copy of the blanket that I cut up to make this. So it had the black stripe down one side and black stripe down the other side. And so I'll show you guys the full blanket. I think it was a twin size blanket. And so if you guys can pick one of those up at your local Army surplus store, or you can buy them online, eBay or Amazon or other websites, then you guys can make your own if you want to. And I just did it all by hand. No sewing machine. I wish I had one, but I don't right now, and they're kind of expensive, so I can't afford one. But if I do get a sewing machine in the future, I'll probably make another one. And so this, hopefully this video isn't too long. Thank you guys for listening to me rant about this, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.